Hello? 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 Testing? Good? You guys can hear me? All right, good. Good.
Testing works here too. Hey,
Yeah.
hot diggity.
There you go. All right, well, I got the thumbs up back there, so let's get going. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys? Good, good. Beautiful day outside. Happy Halloween, right? Yesterday. I'm Sean Bluebaum. I'm our project executive for Sundt for all of the campus expansion here. That is Todd Ganter. For those that don't know, he's the now general superintendent over all of the work here at Royal Oaks. And this is our monthly presentation. So we'll give you a little update and feel free to shout out, throw things, whatever you need to do if you got a question. Yeah, let's get going with it. So this is the rendering. Now I gotta preface this for those that have been coming or following along. This is our 29th, I believe, one of these, somewhere along those lines. And this is the first one with a different drone pilot. So our pictures are slightly different in angle than they usually would be, and our video is slightly different. So I don't have the exact same angle that I usually have of this shot, but I have something close. So that's what it's supposed to look like. This is what it looks like as of a couple of days ago. Getting really, really close to finished. And
The good news is there's still the same number of buildings. So
yeah.
yeah.
He did a good job. It was his first. So we have a whole group of licensed drone pilots at Sundt. But up until now, we had Glenn Casada, who is a licensed drone pilot, on our staff here. But Glenn had to have a procedure and couldn't take the shots for me this month, so we had to call in a backup. But he did the best he could.
We called up the bullpen, basically.
That's right. That's right. And I didn't tell you this, but this is funny. He called me yesterday and said, "Okay, where do you want me to start?" And he was at the Biltmore. He wasn't even here. I said, No. You got another half hour to drive. Keep coming." All right, so this is our update. We always have the same agenda. We start every meeting at Sundt with a safety share to keep safety top of mind. There's nothing more important for us than having everybody go home safe every day. We do work in a dangerous industry, and we certainly try to minimize that if at all possible. So want to keep that top of mind. We'll start there. We'll give a project overview, watch the drone flight, look at some current photos, and talk about upcoming work. Just so everybody knows, we got our occupancy approval on Monday on Building D. So, yeah, really exciting. So, we're pretty happy about that. We actually got the certificate yesterday. I don't know if we've sent it over to you yet, but the little thing from the county. So, yeah, so we're excited about that. So we got one building left, Building E. Okay, safety share. I thought it would be appropriate. This was actually Corbin's idea, one of our superintendents. He said, "Well, they're all moving, so why don't you do something on lifting?" I said, "Well, they're likely using movers, but you still have to lift stuff around your house when you're moving and unpacking and things like that." So our safety share is on safely lifting this month. So we did do this. I looked it up. We had this topic about 18 months ago or so. So if any of you have been diehards coming to every one, this is a repeat. But if you haven't, hopefully it's some good info. So 80% of adults experience lower back pain. Todd and I have both had back issues over the years, and I'm sure most people in this room have. And 1 in 5 injuries and illnesses in the workplace is a back injury. And that's across all workplaces. That's not just construction, right? 264 million lost workdays every year from back pain in the U.S. Think of the cost of that, right? It's unbelievable. And 80% of back injuries are caused because we tend to lift like this, right, instead of like this. Really important. And on a construction site, we have a lot of heavy items and a lot of people that have bravado and ego about, I can lift that, right? Why do I need help with that?
And that's why so many of us have back pain.
That's right. That's right. And so you have things like a CMU block that is 38 pounds, a bag of grout that is 50 pounds, or a sheet of drywall that is 70 pounds. And that's that's a lot of weight to be lifting up. And especially as you get tired and people have been lifting them all day long, right? And so proper lifting is very important, and we see a lot of people don't do it properly every day. So when you guys are moving in to your newly minted building, newly minted units, even if it's a small box, lift it right or get some help, right? That's the message. So,
And husbands, tell your wives you should only lift one box an hour. Just that
right.
keeps the fatigue down, bare minimum.
That's right.
You don't have to work too hard. Take a break.
That's right. That's right. All right. Any questions on that? All right. Let's get to it then. This is a cool shot because this is the last bit of construction zone we really have is down here, and we just blocked this off. So
We did. Yep.
So yeah, we're working our way out that back corner.
We've gone ahead and we've added some fence over here to close this up for the interim time being there, so we can kind of keep our little construction materials in our safe little area. And by the end of today, all of the perimeter barricades will be down. We'll still have our barricading around this and work with the Royal Oak staff and the movers to get folks in. But yeah, other than that, folks will be able to go through a stroll around the entire community tonight.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, let's watch the video. This was coming a little choppy on my computer. Hopefully it's not too choppy, but if not, we've got some still shots too and afterwards. So.
Oh yeah, starting from a different angle. So we're up over the villas now, kind of looking to the southwest. In the center of the image there is building B, and then this is building C on the far west side. Still focusing on buildings D and E in the background. You can see that we've got a lot of the landscaping done. Anything that is dirt right now will be sod in the next couple weeks. So we've got, I'd say probably close to 98% of our plants in right now. Got the last little bit of plants to put in this week. And then we've got almost all of the decomposed granite around the site done. Like I said, everything that is dirt will be sod here in the near future. We still have a little bit of work to go at the bridge there. But as Sean mentioned, we've moved all of our construction type activities on the south side of Building E. Since we met last, I think we did a whole bunch of work on the dog park that I'm sure we'll have some pictures of. So this is the south elevation of Building E. And then there's the ramp down to the garage, Building F right there. As we come around the dining venue, kind of focusing back towards D and E in the background. Just a quick overview of campus that's been completed and turned over for a little while. This is the north side of Building B and the north side of Building C. So not a lot has changed here in the last few months with us here, but the campus is looking more and more like the rendering as Sean mentioned. So again, there's the construction barriers that we'll have down here this afternoon, getting everything cleaned up around there. On the left-hand side is Building E, and as we're flying in to look on the kind of northish elevation of Building E there, we're going through and doing a little bit of rooftop startup of stuff. And then just a quick overview of the planting and the fountains in the Esplanade area that's complete now. And not sure if I got anything more to add on that.
No,
it's just it's pretty well complete. There's not much
good.
more to talk about. So,
as Todd mentioned, the dirt areas are going to be sod. That obviously is overseeded winter grass, so we did have to wait for the temperature to get to a certain point to do that. So that'll come in the near future.
the question is we'll be able to walk through the center aisle. Yes, there is a fence that we've put up underneath the bridges between buildings B and C. We will remove that as well, so you'll be able to stroll through there. So there will be pretty much access around everything, except we've kind of got the north side of Building E fenced off because we're kind of keeping that, finishing up the last little bit of landscaping there. But that's what things look like. We weren't able to get any images of the garage, but it didn't really change much. We still have a portion of that center area for those that are driving down there. We've still got our staging of the components that go in Building E. Most of the cabinets, actually all of them are out as of this morning at 6:30. We took the last bit up to 4th floor. So we'll start clearing that thing out. We'll be down there pulling pallets and things of that nature out of there, getting that scaled down for the next couple weeks to get that fencing removed as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, the garage, like Todd said, we didn't get any shots of it, but we were doing, we were cutting some expansion yesterday, if anybody saw that. And maybe Todd, you can give an update on what was going on there for these guys in case they saw it driving
Yeah,
down.
so there was, I know obviously the garage was one of the first things that we focused on building, and there was something in the structure of the wall that we weren't totally a big fan of, so we asked the structural engineer what we wanted to do, and he asked us to put a relief cut in there. So we got their approval to wait as long as we could to get through construction, so it would go through a couple of temperature cycle changes along with all the loading on there. And so we went ahead and, for anybody that was in and out of the garage yesterday, sorry for impeding your pathway yesterday, but it was an RFI that the engineer had us put a 1-inch relief cut vertically in the wall there. So we will be reaching out to Royal Oaks and letting them know that we'll have a little barricade in the near future for a guy to be up on a ladder to go through and finish patching up some of the joints there with some concrete materials. But that's what we were doing down there. So just some of the stipulations of getting everything correct. Yes, sir. The dog park wall, will it be painted and what color? The color is, what's it called? Do you remember?
Oh,
Is it medium bronze?
is it? I don't know if it's AB4 medium.
I'll tell you, it's
You're
going to be
talking
the
about-
same color as the fence that's along the north
Yeah.
side of the villas and the same as the dog park over there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact color is, but
I don't know.
I'm going to say brown for my color blindness. So we're going to go with that. And then I'm working on getting the painter out here. It'll be in the next week and a half or so that we'll be doing that.
Is that the brown? So we have several shades of brown here. My favorite is AB4 medium bronze, but we also have one called Tucker chocolate. So there may be some Tucker chocolate out there.
Could
too.
be.
Which is funny because the project director for this job is named Tucker. So, thank you on that in the garage. One thing, as you get into these new structures and into the garage, there are several constants about concrete, not to get sidetracked, but concrete keeps moving and curing for like 30 years. So sometimes it does things that the engineer isn't going to know until we actually place it. And that's what happened here, is basically it's moving, and it showed us where it needed an expansion joint based on the movement we were getting there. So, okay, let's look at some still shots. So we've got a couple exterior here. I think looking really nice. Once the sod's there, that's just going to be gorgeous from that angle. So you can see the inside of Building D there that we just finished. You've got the dog park, right? And that's I don't know, Todd, if you got a little schedule update on when that'll all be completed. I guess the sod with the rest of it.
Yeah, the sod will go with the rest of it, and then we have the dog park drinking fountain that
Yeah.
is being delivered out this week and will be installed next. So
Perfect. Got to keep the dogs hydrated.
yes.
We got some resident storage lockers there. These next few shots will all be of the inside of Building D that we just turned over.
Well, what you can see here in the left picture is as part of our certificate of occupancy and egress routing for those that are moving into Building D. Because we are not complete in Building E yet, going across the bridge as an exiting plan is not a wise idea. So since there are 3 stairwells in Building D, we've gone ahead and worked out with both local fire marshal and the county authority having jurisdiction that we would go ahead and put these temporary barriers up. They say construction personnel only, please use the stairs. So in the purposes of exiting, if you have to, for folks that live in that building, that is the stairwell to use. Do not run past or around or hurdle over the top of our barricade, please.
Yeah. Somebody here one month said that she was a very skilled climber. So if you are a very skilled climber, yeah, don't climb that.
We could put signage on there, no climbing, but I thought it would
Yeah.
kind of be just
We also have an elevator open. We have one of the two elevators open at this time. The other one is still closed off.
So the one on the left picture is the one that's closed off. We need to get the signage on that one.
Yep.
But this is the 5-stop one. So this elevator is just further down this hallway here, and this goes all the way down to the basement, so it gets down to the garage, and it has the padding in there for everybody to start moving up into the building. So.
All right. Speaking of the garage, that
Yes.
is the newly minted elevator
This is where the
lobby.
bottom of the 5-stop elevator
Yeah.
arrives. That would be in this elevator lobby here. We got the exterior signage for those that were cruising around down there this week. Noticed that we had signage on Building B and then Building C, and we finally got the designation for Building D. So now everybody can visually see where they need to walk to grab the elevator to go up into their building. The right-hand picture is the community room. That is the last space actually in Building D that we need to finish. This was kind of an exclusion of our temporary certificate of occupancy. The county worked with us. We have fire, life, safety. Everything's good in there. It's just we don't have all the finishes done. We don't have all the cabinets. The cabinets are in now. We don't have all the countertops, and obviously the ceiling tile isn't in there. But those are the really, really cool, neat-looking round light fixtures that'll be in. This is the south half of the community room. So that's what that space is looking like. Kind of a little bit construction-y at the moment, but we're working our way out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, that room will wrap up pretty quickly. It won't take too long.
Yes.
I have a question about the garage. Is there any place you can plug anything in? Because we go way in summer and we use a trickle charger. So is there any place you can plug anything in?
So the question is there any place you can plug in and you need a trickle charger? There are convenience outlets around the outside perimeter of, and I think there are some on certain columns. I don't have it committed to memory as to where they're at, but when it comes to a situation like you're lucky enough to leave this place in the summertime because it's a little warm, Sean and I are extremely jealous, number one, but number two, I would reach out to Royal Oaks on the maintenance side and see what they can help you out with for the getting a connection point to the trickle charger. Yes, sir. The question is where is the community room located in Building D? It would be, so we always talk about the west wing and then the north wing. It is actually located first floor in the very northeast corner of D North. Correct. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
when you exit out the door, you walk
here.
right into the 5-stop elevator, so
Yeah,
it's right
yeah.
across from there. Good question. You bet.
What else? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
The question is the garage lighting now finished? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. We have put in all the lighting that was on the contract documents for us to install. They are on motion sensors, so I think I've mentioned in the past, as you walk, if it gets a little brighter, it's not your mind playing tricks on you. It is the actual lighting system. They do have occupancy sensors. As you move through there, it picks up the lighting, it picks up your movement, and the lighting levels do increase. So it is complete. All right.
I assume you asked that because it's not super bright down there. Or it's time for cataract
Well,
surgery,
yeah.
right? Yeah, it does. It is a little bit dark until you're walking and it's lighting up as you're walking or driving. What's that? Yeah,
no,
they
cars
do.
cars
They
activated.
do.
Cars activated as
They
well.
do.
Yes. I don't know. I think with the speed sometimes, and I've noticed the glare on the windshield that I haven't noticed the lighting levels raise as much as I have when I've walked through there.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because I'm in a vehicle and I'm paying attention to.
Maybe
making
you're
sure.
driving too fast.
No, I am not driving too fast.
right.
I can promise you that.
All right.
But one of the other things, and it's a really good point because I've even noticed it too when I've gone down there in the daytime. It seems dark. It's probably because your eyes come from the outside light. So,
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
when I get down there at 6 in the morning, it seems a little bit more illuminated. But yes, as you meander through there, the lighting levels will increase.
Yep. Good question. Here's another shot of the garage, and our new wall wrap.
Yep.
Is really what it is. You can kind of see our fence still in the background in the middle. As Todd mentioned, we still have some stuff down there that we're rapidly using up. These are some shots of Building E, our last remaining building. So you can see this is on the first floor. So one of the interesting scenarios we deal with out here is that the county only has a limited amount of time to inspect. And so while we were going over the past couple weeks through our very rigorous occupancy inspection process, they did not also have enough time to go look at the other building, right? We had to choose. So we chose building D because that's what we're trying to get turned over. So this building has sat not with no work going on, but the reason you don't have ceiling tiles and things like that is we just haven't been able to schedule the above ceiling inspection, and it's ready on all 4 floors. But so we'll get that scheduled. We may have that scheduled this.
Oh, no, it starts in like an hour and a half
Yeah,
today. So
yeah.
we're going to try
So-
to get, we're getting first floor for sure and possibly second floor. Again, this is one of those time permitting elements.
Yeah.
So.
They give us like an hour, basically. So when we have a whole building with 67 units and community rooms, trash rooms, things like that in Building D, an hour goes pretty quick, right? So we just didn't call any inspections for this other building for the past couple weeks, but we've got a ton of stuff ready, so
Yeah.
they'll be busy.
And it's been our
inspectors.
challenge throughout, right? This project has basically 4 permit numbers on there, and at various points in time, we've had 2 or 3 permit numbers called in for inspections, and the county says you get 1 hour per site. So you're at the mercy of their time allotment, and no matter how much we argued and told them that if we had 4 different permit numbers across 4 different parts of the valley, I should get 4 hours, that did not go over well. It was
No.
not logical
No.
thinking, so therefore we got 1 hour.
Yeah. So anyway, so my point to that is the first floor is really, really close to ready to go. We've got appliances that we need to get in there, which is one of the more challenging things that we deal with, is dealing with GE, who doesn't know us from anybody else. We're just a name on a computer screen, right, that they ship to. So getting the appliances in the proper order and in, Lisa's working hard on that. So we'll get that building all stocked. This is on the second floor, where we have units where we haven't done the flooring yet. You can see the fixtures are in, tiles in, cabinets in. Again, flooring and appliances, they are really, really fast, and that doesn't take very long at all to
Yeah.
put that stuff in.
The interesting element is the domino effect that Sean was mentioning of the not being able to get inspections in a building because we're in the process of getting building D turned over. The reason why we don't have flooring in is because we couldn't get the overhead inspection for the corridor. The overhead inspection for the corridor drives the electrical inspection. The electrical inspection drives us getting air conditioning on. Air conditioning on drives climatization in order to complete the flooring operation that is required by the flooring manufacturer. So when you click one domino, 400 of them fall right behind, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, so that's a great point, Ted. So where we think, I love the domino analogy, we think in this last building, we have a whole ton of dominoes set up, and we just haven't been able to push the first one over, right? And so until today.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Good question. I'll get to that. So this is up on the 3rd floor. You can see pretty much the same condition. We've got countertops that aren't in yet, so those will go in very, very shortly. We've got a part of getting rid of the stuff in the garage is also finding the last handful of sinks and the last handful of whatever items that have been down there forever and getting them over here in this building to get in. So working on that.
Yep. The corridors look as though they may look and appear somewhat still heavily under construction. By the end of next week, we will have carpet on all 4 floors, and by the following Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, we'll have all of the decorative millwork and base down the corridor and all that stuff. So all the like Sean said, all the dominoes are lined up and ready to flick the first one and hang on for the ride.
Yeah, the beauty of this Building E is that all of the common spaces are in Building D, and we've already got that signed off. So storage rooms, trash rooms, all that kind of stuff that really the inspectors pay a lot of attention to, all the fire-rated rooms, all that stuff, that's all already been signed off. E is just units. So really, once they see above ceiling, they don't have to look at a whole lot more. Okay. Now, byproduct of new drone pilot or substitute drone pilot is he got this shot, which Glenn has never taken, and I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, you can really see. I think the question earlier was about walking through this pathway, right, and
Correct.
getting rid of that fence.
Yeah. We'll also take down the caution tape that you can barely see in the image right here. That's kind of bifurcating the Esplanade area. So
Oh.
we'll have that. Yeah, big word today, huh?
I like that.
I practiced. And so we'll have that available, as well as the caution tape that's on the south side of the donut here. We'll have that opened up so people will be able to roam right around. The only thing that we will have closed, let's see, I lost my bearings here for a second. The sidewalk that's down underneath the bridge between buildings D and E, that'll be cordoned off for the time being to keep people from going underneath that area. But yes, we will absolutely. We're working with the folks that are moving in first. For you guys that are coming in first, congratulations. There might be a thing that we may have not completely looked at, right? Like a hey, we bring it to our attention. We'll jump on it and we'll make everything available to you guys for easy access. So we've been diligently working and walking with Royal Oaks to make sure we've thought of hopefully every possible scenario. But guess what? We're human. Something can get past us. We'll make it right. Just bring it to our attention.
Yep. Yes, sir.
When people start moving in to D, will that be off the street level to the south of D that they'll be coming in?
Yeah, and I'll let Todd talk through the logistics. The question was, when people start moving in, will it be coming from the south side of D in through that entrance there? The short answer is yes. Todd, do you want to talk about
Sure.
that a little bit?
Sure. So part of our requirements for getting certificate of occupancy was some of the construction being closed or the access way closed off to the bridge. Well, that was me thinking of how we were going to do something, but then after chatting with Royal Oaks, they're like, "This is the only double doors to get into the building. That's how people need to move their stuff in." I'm like, "Well, that's a pretty smart idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it." So I'm in the process and have already got the blessing from Sun City Fire Department. We're going to modify some of the barricades there. It's going to be kind of on a daily basis because I'm going to have to try and put some of the security back up where we have to come in and still load stuff up onto the bridge. Royal Oaks has been very gracious and has given us the opportunity to also use the elevator to bring stuff up, especially getting things up to the 3rd and 4th floor. Guys are pretty strong. They can take most of the things up to 2nd floor through the stairwell, but when it gets to 3rd and 4th floor, it gets a little heavy. So there will be a little bit of coordination effort that we'll be working with Royal Oaks to get folks into that south door, but I am modifying the access fencing plan and things of that sort to make life easier. So yes, I don't have it completely all figured out. We've got to put some barricades up, but that'll be happening today.
It's a nice tie-in to our safety share on lifting.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, by today, end of today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty immediate, and I got to say, as much as we talk about the county and the challenges we face there, one of our biggest advocates has been Sun City Fire. They've been great. Jim Fox is the fire marshal until yesterday. He retired as of yesterday, and his second in command is a guy by the name of Kenny, and they've been as much of an advocate for us to the county as we have been for ourselves, as to, hey, we got to get these people in here. It's safe, right? We've got fire alarms, we've got sprinklers, we've got firewalls, we've got all that stuff. Let's get people in here, right? So, yeah, they've been very good. Okay, so the question earlier on schedule and building E, all right? So this is the map I've been using. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 check marks out of 6. So we like the big green check marks. We have 1 left, right? You can see November of 2023, which November starts today, right? By the last I checked. So yes, right now, we really, really would like that building to be, from a construction standpoint, okay to occupy by Thanksgiving, call it, right? I mean, we would have liked it to be a couple of months ago, but
Yes.
But yeah, right now our schedule shows just before Thanksgiving. I can tell you, I've told the insurance company, just give us the month of November, right? So we really think that we will be out of here by the end of this month. So barring something unforeseen, like I say, those units will come together very quickly. Most of the big hurdles that we know about, knock on wood, have been crossed. Now, that leads me to a question for this group here. Gretchen and I were talking, and what we were talking about is this the last one of these resident presentations? Being that we will be completed with construction and we won't really have anything to talk about other than completed work in December. So my question to you all is do you want us to come back here, assuming that we do finish this month, and do a final presentation in December? Or is that not necessary because the buildings will be open? Any thoughts?
I think we should have a party in December. It's a great plan. I like that.
Right? We are more than willing, even if we are demobilized and not officing here anymore, to come in December. I don't know if we will still have an office here or not. It kind of depends on how long we can get, punched out and out of those buildings. There is quite a bit of work when it comes to finishing up touch-ups and things like that. Yes.
Where are you and Todd going? What's your next project after you leave here?
Well, Todd is going to a project I'll let him talk about that's actually already kind of started.
Yeah. So, there's been various team members. We had Maddie and Alex that were a part of our team. They have since moved on, and they're in the large population of 250 people in Corona, New Mexico. We're doing a wind generation project out there, part of one of many segments of the phase. It is a power converter station. So wind-generated power will come to this structure, and then it'll transfer over transmission line into Coolidge, Arizona. So I will be overseeing both sets of projects between Corona and Casa Grande here as far as the structural works going on and our components there. So it's a $170 million project between both. So I'll be splitting my time between New Mexico and Arizona.
But overall, it's the largest sustainable energy project in the country going on right now. It's like an $8 billion project. It's just our piece is, like Todd said, $170 million. But it's a massive project to basically take wind energy and move it between New Mexico and Arizona. Super cool. Super cool. And I'm told, and I don't know because I'm not on it. Todd knows better than I am, but I'm told that once we open those buildings, nobody can ever go in them again because they're super deadly.
Yeah, they've got a high voltage rating in them. They're kind of unique. That's totally different construction, kind of like a once in a lifetime project to put on your resume, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, so we've sent Sierra is on that, and you said Alex and Maddie, they got their first snowfall.
Yeah, they got the first
Couple days
snowfall on
ago.
Monday up there at 19 degrees.
Yeah.
6,800 feet.
So we've sent a group there. As for me, myself and Lisa are going to finish closing this out. That's our immediate task. Lisa is then going to a data center. For if you haven't noticed, all the giant concrete boxes being built all over town, they're all data centers. There's data centers going up everywhere. To store servers for stuff that's in the cloud. You want to know where it goes when it goes to the cloud? It goes to a data center we're building somewhere. But for me, I'm probably going into our Tempe office. My role typically would be to oversee multiple projects, just like Todd's going to do from the field side. But Royal Oaks has been a big enough job and has so many different projects within the project that this has been my only task out here. So I'll go into Tempe and have a few projects under me. We were all slated, Kendra, to go to a big high-rise downtown, but many of the high-rise projects have been shelved temporarily because of the interest rates. So those are typically built by developers, and developers don't build them when the interest rates are what they are right now. So Todd and I actually have a 23-story building that is designed, ready to go in downtown Phoenix. That would be Fairmont Residences and a Fairmont Hotel. And it's just sitting on the shelf waiting for the developer to say, okay, now we can build that. So we still hope to do that someday, but probably going to be a little bit. Yes, sir.
Good question. So the question was, um, we live in Building C and the alarms keep going off. Why is that? Well, so Royal Oaks, in its entire campus operation, is going through and over the course of time upgrading the fire alarm system throughout the entire campus, from all the way from Inspirata Point over to Friendship House. And this Inspirata Point happens to be the leading project that is driving the new design, and therefore the design has been to link the buildings together. So above and beyond that, I can't tell you anything more because that gets way too technical above my head on how all this, the linking of it works together. But I know that I do apologize that that you guys have to go through that. We don't mean to, but that's part of our testing system. You will also have the same experience. And unfortunately, more people will have to deal with that. The residents that move into D will also hear that when we start up building E. The good news is E is a lot quicker to test than building D because it's it's just half the size. And there's a lot, like Sean mentioned, there's no community rooms, there's no storage rooms, there's no electric rooms, there's no IT rooms, there's no trash rooms. So there's right there, that's 20 different rooms that we don't have, or actually 17 different rooms that we don't have in the E building. So it'll be faster on the turnaround. But it does happen to do with the new design of the entire campus system as it progresses from west to east with a new fire alarm system.
Yeah,
So-
everything was kind of built to be all an integrated campus. So at least it's a soothing tone. Yes. I'll come back to you. She was first.
They mentioned we're in building C, and there's a couple of punch list items that need to be done. Any idea when those might be accomplished?
So the question is, we got a couple of punch list items in building C. So we are working on those. I'm not going to lie to you. We had a really big challenge trying to get through the county. I went back and updated the schedule, and we started our inspection process the 9th of October in building D. And with all of the got this, got that, we found this, we found that thing, and all the different requests, it took us that many days to get C of O for that building. So why did I tell you all that? Because we had to pull Lisa off of those things to come help us get this building done when we did. So as things move forward, we are seeing work orders, and she's getting back into the regime of tracking those and getting things clicked off.
Yeah.
So I know we had a few that we've taken care of in building B recently, so we're working on them. We're gonna get back to them quickly. So I don't have an exact date, but I know that her time has freed up a fair amount, so she can help get back into the swing of things.
I
You're
do
welcome.
also, just for clarity for the entire room, the way we look at it when we turn over a building is there's punch lists, which Carrie was talking about, the blue tape. That is punch list, right? Those are items. That's a defined list that was identified by Royal Oaks, the design team, and Sundt as we walk the building of we need to fix this, right? And those have the blue tape on. And please don't go add blue tape. We got enough.
We fingerprint every piece of blue
Right.
tape we put up there,
That's
so if
right.
your fingerprints are different, we're
That's
gonna
right.
know.
And then there's warranty, right? So warranty is different. So we provide a 1-year warranty on the building, but we don't mix that with the punch list. That goes into a system called WorkSub. So it goes to Paula and Darren and Royal Oaks first. They decide whether it's something that the contractor should fix or whether it's something that is more of a Royal Oaks is going to do something about it. And then we get it through that system. So it could be that it's a warranty item as well. Lisa handles both. And so, yeah, she's super responsive typically, unless we clutter her job with other things, right? Like
Yes.
Todd was talking about. Yes, sir.
Backing up to the fire alarm, can you arrange for Royal Oaks to send out an email or some kind of notice? It's gotten to the point now where we're all sitting where we were, and the criticism is a real fire. No one's responding to the fire alarm.
Gotcha. So the
Yep.
question is can we send a notification out to Royal Oaks? The answer is yes, we can. So
Yep.
behind the scenes, we do a lot of things that we don't tell everybody in these meetings of what we do. So we go through and we put the fire alarm system in test. One of the things we do after we do that is we get a fire watch. That person walks the entire building that we've asked to put on test. For example, lately we've been putting building D in test. So therefore, we have a person that walks every floor every 15 minutes. They don't go into the units, they just walk the corridors, right, and the common spaces, they check those. At the same time, when we put the building fire alarm system in test and activate the fire watch, we also call Royal Oaks Security. We let them know, folks, we put the building in test. If an alarm comes up in any other building other than building D, we need to respond to it. So we are doing extra communications, but I understand your point, and we can send an email
Yeah.
out to facilities to have them. I understand that. And that goes back to the whole loop system of how it's designed, because that's what the fire marshal and Royal Oaks have decided for their integration for their upgrading campus. So we will go ahead and once we have put this building in test, we will notify not only Royal Oaks security that we have been, but we'll ask facilities to see if they can send out a quick email to campus and let them know that that's in test. Easily doable. If we could make it more simple, we absolutely would. We're construction people. We like simplicity, but the way this fire alarm system is designed, it's pretty high tech, and therefore we are not. So that's where the complication
But we
lies.
shouldn't have that for the next couple of weeks, probably.
For the couple weeks, yep.
Probably for a couple of weeks, you shouldn't. It shouldn't happen.
Yep.
Right, and until we start going through the process with the last building. So, all right. How about Todd? You've talked a lot about upcoming work, but maybe talk about anything that we didn't hit on that they may see happening here in the last building.
Well, real quick, upcoming work, we talked about painting the dog park and getting that stuff done in the next 2.5 weeks, I believe, is when we have sod coming in for the rest of everything. We will go ahead and, this is some of the barricades that people were asking about access into the building. We'll be working that. We'll be fencing this side. And then we still have some vertical tubes that need to go, all these little dots that are sticking out of the bridge. They're vertical tubes, very similar to what's between buildings B and C. We've got to complete that work. We've left that out so we could get a lot of long stuff like countertops and rolls of carpet, stuff that doesn't fit into an elevator, up into the building. So we're at a point now where we can go through and coordinate with when folks are moving in and putting access on one side or the other for us to go through and put a boom lift up there and get those done. That work will start next week. And let's see, I think that's pretty much it for the site work operations. The driveway will be open all the way around, yes.
That's a really good question. It's something I want to hit on. We do everything we can to control the parking of our trades. As Todd said, they're human beings, and as we all know, sometimes you get some human beings that just don't want to do what you tell them to do, right? So I'll apologize in advance if somebody parks on that in an area they shouldn't park on. We do everything we can. We sticker their cars. We do whatever, but sometimes people just want to drive right up to the door they're going to work at and park their car right there. So
The good news is we're down to, a small enough staff, group
Yeah.
size on the job site. We're in the 60-ish range right now, so we pretty much know what everybody drives. So we're stalkers like that. We spot their cars and we memorize them. Plus, if not, I'll go pull door handles. I'm not proud. I'll break in politely break in and see if they got tools so I can figure out what trade they are and get
you'll
things to move. So
investigate, not break in.
it's not breaking in if it's unlocked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and it's on my job site, so therefore, no, I won't do it to any personal vehicles,
Yeah.
trust me. No, just a joke. But, yeah, Sean's right. Like, it's the old adage, right? You lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So we will do our very best to get people out of there. We've really put the crack down this week. It's been working. And there are ebbs and flows, but we know when we get a pretty good handle on getting people out of there now.
Yeah.
So, again, we still have to provide chemical toilets for folks, so those are going to stay in those locations for the time being, because we got to be able to provide services for those folks that are working in Building E right now.
The good news is most of the trades that are left are actual tradespeople. They're not the piece workers, right? Like drywall that we talk a lot about is done by piece workers, that they just do drywall, and it doesn't really matter what job they're at, and they go to a different job every day, and they just come and hang drywall and go somewhere else, right? Those are the people that you really struggle with because they don't know the rules, and they don't really care that much because they're not going to be there tomorrow, right? So most of what's left is tradespeople that are here and have been working here and know the rules and will follow them. So, all right, what else? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
The problem you were having with the ceiling access panels, is that installed and partially?
Right. The question is on the ceiling access panels that are not the most aesthetic at times, where they have drywall basically going to a metal frame of an access panel, and then it's textured over the panel. Do we have it solved? I don't know that we have it solved, but I think we understand the expectation, and the drywaller understands the expectation. I've seen some that look really good in the new building, and some where I'm like, geez,
We got to take another
100 and
swing
some
at that
units
one.
in, and that looks like that, you know. But like you say, we understand the expectation. So, and I will say, our drywaller, for better or worse, said to me on Monday, God, because we have a much better drywall punch crew on this building than we've had on any of the others. He said, God, I should have gave you these guys like a year and a half ago.
And we said,
Yes,
uh-huh.
you're correct. But yeah, we have a gentleman by the name of Ruben, and Ruben takes a lot of pride in his work, and he has a good crew, and him and Lisa get along really well. And these are the best units at the time of turnover that we've put out there so far, as just the smallest amount of punch items. So, yes, sir. Yeah, that's what he's. Yeah. So the question is on. It's the same panel. It's over the island. It is for the mechanical unit that's right there. The reason that there's no mold, so it is designed to be finished with just a sort of crisp edge. It's not designed to have any sort of trim piece. And I think the idea is that if you put a trim piece on it, now you really call attention to it, right? As opposed to you see it initially and then you start looking past it. So what we focus on and what we've been focusing on is cleaning up that edge with a razor blade, with trying to get as crisp of lines as we can. They're not perfect. It's a problematic detail that can look good on paper, and in the real world, there's more variance, right? But we're trying to get that as tight and as crisp as we can. And they're all over. It's not just at the units that have them above the island. Every unit has them. Building D in the restaurants, they have them. There's a version of that detail all over the
That's
place.
building F and G.
F and G, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
The real answer is for residents, there's no reason for you to ever access that.
That's right. Yeah, there's no reason.
That's somebody you
that's a-
call to come take a look at something up in that area.
Yeah, that panel should virtually never be used, but it has to be there. And you can't, we looked at way back when, especially in the units where it's over the island, could that be not over the island? And the problem is you've got that small dropped ceiling area, and the rest of the ceilings in that floor plan are all the way up high to the trusses. So there's no place to put you'd have to move the mechanical there, and there's no place to put it.
Unfortunately, with the CFMs, the cubic feet per minute of air that's pushed out of those units have to be centrally located so that the CFMs can push out in a branch-like fashion to either side of the unit. We did look at putting them in the bathrooms in certain locations, but the design team said that the centrally located was the best location for them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we know. I mean, we've had that feedback. I like to tell my team feedback is a gift. You guys have gifted us with lots of feedback and lots of feedback on that unit and that access panel. So, but that's basically where the design team said that has to go there. So, yes, sir, Elmer.
I just want to know by your information you gave me that when you were going to vacate this building,
Yes.
that you would give me and my wife $100 credit over at the Inspirata Pointe restaurant. Is that still standing?
The question is on a conversation I clearly don't remember.
I may not either.
Oh yeah, it's been a pleasure. We've been here. We got here in September of 2020.
August. I got here in
Yeah,
August.
he got here in August. I got here in September, and And I'm thinking now how difficult it's going to be to move out of the building we've been in, right? We got a lot of crap over there that we've got to get rid of. But yeah, it's been a pleasure working with everybody
Yeah,
here.
it's
And
been
Elmer,
a
you've
great-
been here the whole way with us, so
Yeah.
we appreciate it. We like to call Elmer one of our other assistant superintendents out there, so. What else?
Do you have a definite finish time for E or not?
The question is, do we have a definite finish time for E? We definitely have a schedule that has a date on it. I'm just not going to throw that out there, basically.
I
Yeah.
updated the schedule yesterday, and I kind of went. So I got to go back and do, like, we've got a bunch of logic. We've kind of changed some sequences of some things, and we're moving some things around. So in order for me to give a solid answer, I've got to go back and remodify the whole thought process that we had before. So, is it going to still fit in the time frame that Sean's talking about? Yes, it is. But I
Yeah.
don't have an exact date and or time because we have the county factor.
What one of on that note though, we become more and more reliable with the dates as the scope pares down and as we get rid of things like Todd was talking about, the IT rooms and the electric rooms and things like that. And part of the reason being is one of the details we've had a lot of challenges with is the county is looking at the manufacturer detail for fire caulking, and they're doing what they call destructive testing to check that we have 1 solid inch of fire caulking around every pipe in all of those rooms that are rated. And so what'll happen is we'll be on a final inspection and we'll see that there's fire caulk everywhere and we'll think we're going to pass, and he'll stick his thumb in there and he'll poke a hole in it and say, look, that's only like a 1/2 inch fail, right? And so you multiply that times every penetration in every IT room, electrical room, storage room, all those rooms are fire rated. And that has really, really given us fits. Now, some would say, well, why don't you just make it 1 inch every time? I totally agree. But the guy that's standing there with the tube does what he thinks is best, and sometimes it doesn't. So one of the big advantages to make it more reliable is we have very little of that in Building E. Like very, very little. So if we have 100 pipes for them to stick their thumb in and try to check, that's a lot different than if we have 10, right? From a reliability, what's going to happen standpoint. So I'm not saying that as an excuse. I'm just saying as we get into that last building, we feel pretty good about where we're at over there. What else?
But if let's just say, you're out of here, you are out of here.
Yeah.
By the end of November. What does that mean for move-in time? I mean, where do we go from there as to when we can actually move in?
Yeah, I'd be happy to take that question.
Yep.
The question was, if Sundt has left the building by the end of November, what would be the move-in time? And of course, that all depends on the 60-day letter. We need time to commission the building. We need time to get the D residents moved in. I know that Carrie Dixon is working with all of the depositors to schedule their move-in times. Carrie, do you want to comment at all on when Building E might start moving in?
When we get the building.
Yeah, our goal is to get the 60-day letter out when we get temporary certificate of occupancy.
But even our goal was for that in Building D, and it went out early to some, because of people needing to move. And so we'll probably be doing exactly what we did with Building D. So if you have an immediate need or you sell your house, give us a call because we can work with you, and stagger you in there, get you your 60-day letter and all of that. It is, I think I sent out 60-day letters a couple every day until I
Yeah, I would say we work with Royal Oaks virtually every day talking about move-ins and how they're going to work and what, where we're at construction-wise and where we're at inspection-wise and what units need to be first, what units need to be second. Unfortunately, they don't let us they don't give us partial, hey, you can have this floor. Nor does anybody here really want that, right? Because then you're walking around in amongst construction folks, it's not safe. So trust me when I say your move-in dates are top of mind of everybody on Royal Oaks' staff. What else? Any other questions?
Well, Sean and Todd, I'd just like, on behalf of all of the residents and Royal Oaks, thank you for coming every month for all 29,
I think this is 29.
29 times.
Yeah.
The feedback that you've been given has been phenomenal. Thank you for your transparency in
Yeah.
everything. It's nice to be able to ask questions and the residents to be able to see their homes as they've been being built and feel like they have been a part of the construction. And so thank you very, very much.
You're
Our
absolutely
pleasure.
welcome.
Our pleasure. You're welcome. Thank you. I will say, you made me think of something. So I sent some stats to Bill George, and we've had, I think, 20 different people that have come up here and joined us and presented that are part of our team, and we get texts at least every few days from former Royal Oaks team members that miss being here. So it's been a really, really enjoyable experience. Longer than we thought. But yeah, it's been a really real pleasure. So thank you. Right? Well, we got another 30 years. We'll be
Perfect.
Todd will be
Already
ready.
got my unit picked out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.